I'm just changed. I feel different all throughout me. It's been very energetically, spiritually uplifting. I just feel happy.
There's been several massive breakthroughs for me that are going to probably change my entire life.
The transformation I had was on so many levels. It's hard to even put it into, a little couple minutes here for everyone.
There was also the phobia I got over through hypnosis, which was interesting.
10 times better than what you'd get at a big, massive event.
And my life has changed since I came to the last one, so why not come back?
Go. It's amazing. I have no hesitation.
All right, welcome back to another episode of the Spohn Trained Subconscious Programming Podcast. We have kind of a special episode today. I am joined by my friend and mentor and partner, Sandra Grace, and we are going to talk about resonance. We're getting ready to put on our the third edition of the Resonance event, and the first two have been absolutely amazing, and I get a lot of people asking me questions about it. And so this is kind of an episode to answer those questions. We'll have some testimonials on here as well. But first of all, I want to welcome my guest, Sandra Grace. How are you?
I'm so happy to be here, Nicholas. So Nicholas and I have had quite a journey together. And as he said, I did get the opportunity to serve at one point early on as a bit of a teacher to him. And then, of course, when the student passes the teacher, I get to learn from him over and over and over. And Resonance has really been that for us. I was so honored to be invited to join you in this event that he was putting on together. And I have to say, I've been a part of a lot of trainings, a lot of teachings, a lot of courses, but this is an event. This Resonance, it changed my life as a participant and an instructor. It was just phenomenal. I love it. And so he's continued to help me to grow and learn and expand personally, professionally, and Resonance. Every time we leave there, I feel like I have had the most amazing transformation. So it's great for everyone.
I'd love to take the credit, but I think I learn more than anybody at these things. So first of all, I guess why should somebody go to a 4-day personal development event? Why should that even be a thing?
Well, for me, I think, so mostly what I do is I help entrepreneurs manage their energy to grow their business. I train coaches and hypnotists and things like that. And so a lot of people in complementary healthcare or that are already in personal development will find that this really takes them to the next level, not only personally, but also professionally. So I was like, write it off as a business expense, because trust me, your business will boom when you do this. So one thing is it goes beyond personal development. All of it can also be applied to your business. And there's a few other parts I really like about it, because as you know, so at Integrative LifeWorks Inc., my big thing is that everything we do is physical, structural, mental, emotional, and spiritual. And this is such a unique event because you really make profound changes for people in all levels. And so,
yeah, we kind of touch on the mental, the physical, and the spiritual, and not just consciously learning about it, but actually having those experiences. Right. And for me, a live event, my biggest transformations have always been live events. And when I, knowing what I know, when I look back, now I understand why. It's because your brain becomes plastic. It's moldable in these settings because we get a lot of emotion. We get a lot of connection. We're doing things specifically to create dopamine, to create serotonin. And with those chemicals in your brain, it's open to change. It's open to rewriting your neural pathways. Right. And so that's why you guys could take my online course or watch a YouTube video or whatever, and you may consciously, quote unquote, know it. But until you come to this event, those chemicals are flowing in your brain. And then it's like, boom, new neural pathways are getting connected. It's a totally different experience, right?
Well, and what I love about that too is what I notice a lot of people that show up through these, we have a lot of, I guess I want to call it very successful, high quality people that choose to come to these events. They're not necessarily beginners in anything, right? These are very successful individuals. And one thing that I notice is many of them know some of it or even quite a bit of it, but they're not doing it. They're not living it. And so what I love is that you give them the opportunity to really fully integrate it into all parts of themselves. And not only do you open up with that neuroplasticity and create that opportunity, but the myelination that happens because there's the repetition on top of it. And so we're constantly hitting state and repeating and hitting state and repeating. And so I just love that they come out of it, not just like they've been exposed to it or they've been reminded of it, but it's really like happened for them. And we've like had the opportunity to myelinate for them as well. So they leave with it all in.
Yeah. So let's talk about what does it mean to like hit state, right? So for
Yeah.
me, I would go to Tony Robbins event or a hypnosis training or an NLP training, and they would talk about state.
Yeah.
And Tony does a good job of putting people into quote unquote peak state.
Yeah.
Most of the hypnotists, they just talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
They don't necessarily take you there.
Mm-hmm.
But Tony's was like, okay, there's peak state, but there's so many different peak states.
Mm-hmm.
And so I started looking at, well, what does it like to be in a state of gratitude? What does it look like and feel like to be in what I call the warrior state?
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about too many of the states. I don't want to ruin it for anybody. But the warrior state, like there's ways that we use our face. There's ways that we use our breath, our focus, our intention, the way we move our body. And if we use, I'm getting goosebumps.
I know.
I can just think about that state and start to go into it because I've trained it in. So what happens is we send a message to the cells in our body to change vibration. And so we change frequency, or we resonate, which is where the name came from. We resonate on a different level.
Yeah.
That means we have different emotions. We have different capabilities. We have different values. We perceive the whole world differently from a different frequency, from a different level of resonance. And so most people, they get stuck in frustration or depression or anxiety, and they don't know that they're just essentially on a radio station. Yeah. And when we shift their vibration onto a new station, just, with the snap of a fingers, they go, oh my gosh, I feel that my whole life looks different now.
Well, and I think that it's interesting because even people that understand this, a lot of times there's one little misunderstanding that we don't only just explain to people, but we really train them in, which is the idea that you control the thought, and the thought's going to fire off the chemicals, and that's going to create the feeling. So we really do a great job of people, they'd be like, oh, I'm just at this kind of low vibe, or I'm at this low resonance. Even people that use terms like energy terms, like maybe they're not Reiki master teacher like Nicholas and I, but they've heard the terms of like, oh, I'm vibing high, or I feel like I'm at a low frequency or low vibe, right? But I don't think that up until now, some of them really understood how quickly they can alter that energetically, mentally, right? So the thought would fire off the chemical, right? So because of our training as hypnotists and our training as energy workers and our training in several other fields, right? We get to bring it all together for them. So they get to like really experience it. I just love with the first time that they realize how quickly they can just like make it happen. It's phenomenal.
It's like, all right, go back to your old state. Go back to your new state. Go back to your old state. Go back to your new state. And they're like,
what?
My life is different now. Like I don't have to stay there. Like I knew that, but like I knew I could change my thoughts. But like now I feel the energy difference, and now I have the energy to go after my goals. I have the energy to pursue that relationship. I have the energy to eat healthy, to do the things I want to do, just from that simple shift in what we put together 9 kind of different bullet points of how to change that frequency. And we're just on the first day. So, I mean, there's 8 hours, 8 hours a day of this stuff. And what I love is because, me, I'm obsessed with this stuff. So I would go and I'd find these little breakthroughs from everybody I learned from. And I just put together a 4-day, we put together 4 days of just breakthroughs. Yeah. And so I love when we're teaching, because I can look out in the audience at any point. And someone's going, oh my God, that point changed my life. Yeah. And maybe not everybody, it doesn't hit everybody the same way, but at every point in the day, somebody's going, holy cow, I saw that principle in my entire life. I never realized it.
Well, I love that, oftentimes it might show up in the group like a breakdown. Like, so people look over and we have some pretty strong understandings on the first few days about how we allow people to process through those things, but they'll be noticing someone near them is having what might appear to an outsider as a bit of a breakdown. And that's really their breakthrough, right? And that there's so much comfort and ease. It's such a sacred space. And so, regardless of the number that's in the room, there is no doubt that there's immediately this understanding of the sacred space where you come in and you do your work, and you don't hold back, and you don't save it till you're alone in your room late at night, right? We have those experiences together, and it's an opportunity to then really see it. And as you're seeing it occurring, you have another understanding of it. It's such an amazing vibe, for lack of a better term, right? Like everybody's like this wonderful space. And I feel so honored to be a part of that, and to see the way that Nicholas can create this space for people and can make it so safe.
Yeah. And I thought, we were going to have to do all the transformation work, but really the participants, they learn these principles. And I remember the first time we did this on day 4, someone would say something about a problem they were having. It's like 3 people in the audience would go, oh, here's how that principle applies. Here's what, and they would be like, oh, that makes, and they started giving each other breakthroughs. And really that connection was more than I ever anticipated, right? Like the way people are connecting with each other, making lifelong friends. It's been
what we teach, we learn. And so I love that in this opportunity, you create a space for people to be guided, to gain all the content that you've gotten, to have it through, visceral experiences, but also to feel as though that they're a part of this and not like there's sit down, shut up and listen to what we're going to teach you, right? It's very much inclusive. And that's what creates the opportunity for it to grow. Because when we're at lunch or we're at whatever crazy event he has us off jumping off cliffs or whatever we're doing, when we're off doing those things, it's a chance to, to remind ourselves and to teach it to one another, and therefore to learn it at a deeper level. And that's from my background in education, I think that's like immeasurable what you've done. But also, so we have these groups, right? So I don't know what they're like, Facebook's group, WhatsApp's groups. We have all these different ways that people connect. And I'm absolutely amazed, like 9 months post event, how every day they're like blowing up this connection still. And so really, like, I have people, and you have had people that come up to us and say, I just feel like I'm kind of a loner out there. Like I talk this language, no one speaks my language, no one seems to get it, right? Or I read this book and nobody really knows what I'm talking about or has really interest over it. And now they get this group, they got this like-minded group of people who now understand about their states. They're not whining and complaining about where their life is. They're saying, okay, I've got this situation, and everybody is able to jump in and support each other and remind each other and give them all those tools to remain back in state. And so it's not like the one and done, like so many events that you go to, right? This is like a long standing opportunity to really, it's great.
Yeah, it's super fun. And I think the most important thing is that people leave with different neural networks in their brain. Like their body and their brain is now wired differently because of the experiences they've had. And not only that, they now know how to do it themselves because they experienced 4 days of it. They're like, I really understand how to use my mind to create something in my life. I really understand how to use my mind to create a new emotional pattern or to move someone else through that emotional pattern, right? Because you're a hypnotist, I'm a hypnotist. We have several hypnotists or NLP practitioners or coaches that come.
Entrepreneurs.
Yeah, but entrepreneurs are leaders, right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
You're in sales. And so these principles apply whether you're talking to your kids or your partner or, a client. And so you understand how to move people through emotional states. But again, more importantly, your nervous system is literally changed after this. It literally can't not change.
Right.
And you had someone that was at my event, did your hypnosis training. And she said resonance was like 10 years of therapy in 4 days.
Right. That's why I was starting to laugh. I was like, for those of you who aren't seeing the video, I was having a hard time holding it back because they literally are so shocked and amazed by what happened. And the one I was laughing about is the guy who went home and his wife was like, you are a different human being. It was almost like body snatchers. She's like, what happened to you? Like, you are not the same human being. And it takes them a while to settle into the fact that it's real. That it's not just this like temporary quick fix that they come home with, but they're like, I just found it amazing when they would say like their spouse like was so overwhelmed by the dramatic change, just like in walking in the door, like, right. Just their presence, how they literally knew that this was a new human being because they have, right.
And let's set expectations. So this doesn't seem like a miracle here. I don't want to, it's a start of a process of understanding yourself and creating the life that you want. It's not the end. Repetition is the mother of skill, and you'll learn the one other most important way to program the nervous system besides repetition. But right after our last event, we had 3 people sign up for this one. Yeah. And there's another one that was the 2 more that were there that are trying to come to this. So they just loved it so much. And there's so much information. Yeah. Like you get it it's in your nervous system but to really master, they want to come back and do it again. Right. And so it's not just I come and I'm done. It's part of the process of personal growth.
Yeah. Well, and we have core content that's the same, but we're constantly upgrading. And that's what we're working on right now, right? Because we're leaving, and we've taught this all. Literally, I don't know how long we've been teaching this, like longer than many of you have been alive. I've been teaching this stuff, right? And Nicholas has read more books than anyone on the planet when it comes to these subconscious purging. So the thing is that we're always learning. So essentially that last event, he's also read another dozen books, and I've also taught another dozen courses, right? And so we're always growing and changing it. So even though some of the core concepts are the same, we're always evolving the course. So when someone comes back, they do get reinforcement, but they also have a new way of experience or a new way of learning and the new dynamic of the new group. And I think that's part of why they return as well, or they apply it to a new aspect of their life, perhaps sometimes.
And, I heard people say this, that like when they speak, it just feels like they're channeling or something's coming through them. But I never experienced it until the first resonance. And, you know, I mean, I didn't sleep for 3 days, for 3 days ahead of time, and then 4 days for the event. And I was a total zombie, except when I was speaking. Yeah. And I couldn't even think. And these words were coming out, and it was like, just nailing the bullet points that I wanted to hit. And so getting flow. It kind of happens. And so every group is different. There's going to be different breakthroughs, different rabbit holes, different things that we're just inspired to go down. And that's why I never like doing the same thing over and over again. Like I like so much variety, but this event is so different every single time that when I go, I'm like, all right, what am I going to master in myself? What am I going to learn? And, you know, for everyone else, they get the same thing as well. So
every time, like, as we started a while back, like I said, every time I come back, there's another element that maybe I've taught for years or in a different way or for decades. And I come back seeing it, feeling it, knowing it in a new way, seeing something, an opportunity grow in my own life or open up for me as well. And it feels amazing. I love it.
And we teach a lot of we have an outline and it shifts a bit, but even that can be pretty different from the first time to the second time to the third time. So we taught the masculine and feminine energy on the first time. And most of the group was like, oh, that little afternoon just made my whole event worthwhile. Like that just totally changed my relationship. And then we did it again in Mexico. It was pretty different. Yeah. And it was the same result. Yeah. Like people were like, oh my God. This explains my dating life to a T. This explains my partners to a T. Right. So who knows what's going to come up with the next one, but
I love how the content it's shared in such a way that you can apply it in so many facets of your life. So whether it's a facet of your professional life, whether it's about something as simple as sales, or whether it's about mission, or whether, you know, like whether it's something more professional in nature, or whether it's something more personal, like you said, it could be your intimate relationships, or it could be your relationship with source or God or Allah or Buddha, or, you know, it could be, I love that people are able to take these concepts because of the way that they're being taught, and they can move them into the lessons that they're ready for, the growth that they're ready for at the time that they're ready for it.
Yeah. Even perfect. You know, we take the 3 steps of hypnotic influence, which we cover on the first day, but we apply that to our relationship with the divine, to our partner, to our kids, to, you know, like that applies to everything in our life. And I think the 3 steps of hypnotic influence makes the event worthwhile in itself. And that's, you know, a 2-hour segment on 4 days. So it's so much, it's been
4 days of so much.
It's been so fun. Yeah. So the first one was in Sedona. The second one we did in Mexico. And then this one is part of the next one coming up, depending on when you listen to this, is part of Hypno Thoughts Live. We have a 4-day post-conference training. And in Las Vegas at the Orleans Hotel, if you can make Hypno Thoughts Live, Sandra and I will both be speaking there as well. It is a world-class conference.
What's happened there is they draw some of the most amazing folks in the field, in the global network. And so, you know, if you've been listening to Nicholas up until now and you understand what he does about the subconscious mind, or what he's sharing with you about that, there are so many rabbit holes that are fascinating in that. And there's someone who specializes in all of it. And these colleagues of ours are just absolutely outstanding. I know that Nicholas and I are both so honored to speak among these esteemed people around the world. Like, they globally find these amazing presenters, and there's panels of them, and there's topic areas, and there's divisions. There's nothing like it. So if you could tack that onto your resonance, boy, I really recommend you do that. What Scott and Stephanie do is phenomenal.
I'm more excited to go learn at the event than I am to speak at.
Yeah,
I love speaking, but I'm going to do a pre-conference training and with somebody that I've actually had as a podcast guest, Roy Hunter. So check that episode out. But yeah, I mean, it's a great event. If you're listening after that, so that's August 1st through 4th, 2022. If you're listening to this after that, just go to the website, www.sponetrain.com/resonance. And you can see what our upcoming events are. This is our 3rd one in a year.
We really hit it hard this year.
Yeah, maybe two, 1 or 2 per year. So those opportunities don't come too often, and the last one sold out. So yeah, if you're interested, definitely reach out to us or just sign up.
Do you have to tell them about the part of the event? I'd like to tell them a little bit about the event portion, because as I said earlier, you know, when you've been a teacher or been in so many trainings and workshops and so many fields in my life, I have never been to an event like Resonance. Like Nicholas was telling me about, like, oh, we're going to do this, we're going to do this. Yeah. And I'd be like, okay. And I knew all the behind the scenes as we were planning it. Right. But then I show up and the lights and the sound and the music and the DJ and the videographers. And this is all happening. And I say, what is happening here? And what it does to really help to deepen those states, right? And we have so many amazing ways to use color therapies and light therapies and sound therapies. And it's so subtly mixed into what you're experiencing. And I just have to tell you, I mean, I've been to Tony's events, I've been to Brendan Burchard's events, I've been to some really amazing people's events, but I've never seen it work in the intimacy and also the grandeur that Nicholas has found a way to create. I have to say,
and
his events
for a
are
small
amazing.
event too, right?
Right.
It feels like it's not, they're not massive yet. Maybe,
No.
you know, if you're listening to this 2 years down the road, maybe have 1,000 people, but we have, you know, 20 to 30 people.
Yeah.
And so
it's intimate, and it's also just a full sensory opportunity for you to process it on all levels. It's really incredible.
My favorite thing is I've had a few people reach out to me after the event and be like, this was absolutely incredible. This just changed my life. I had so many breakthroughs. Like, I'm journaling on the way home on the plane, and like, I can't stop writing. And then they want to give me some pointers for how to do it differently. And I'm like, it's so funny because that's what the mind does, first of all. But I'm like, they have no idea the intricacies and the subtleties that created the breakthroughs.
Oh yeah. You
know, like there's, I mean, if you're a hypnotist, you'll understand some of this, but there's open loops, there's spatial anchoring, there's music. We're anchoring to music and lights. You know, like we're using the modalities. There's so many things. I'm future pacing, right? We're future pacing the whole time, and all
bringing
the loops,
parts therapy together, right?
Exactly. We're doing parts therapy as part of it. So there's so many subtleties, and they have no idea. Like they don't understand it, which is totally fine, because they get the outcome.
Yeah.
But then they're like consciously trying to wrap their heads around it.
Right.
So I kind of laugh at that.
It is funny. And our energy worker friends too, some of them pick up on some of the energetic things that are happening. They don't really see like the placement or the movement or the feng shui or the, you know, and they're like, oh, right. And there's others that have no idea, but it's just working for them. And that's all that matters. Right. So some of you who already have experience in these fields will love learning also. Like this is a great takeaway for you too. As I said, it's professional as well as personal development. If you're coming to Hypnothos, this upcoming one, some of you as hypnotists will see, or energy workers or coaches, or, you know, whatever your field is, you'll see that. But it works the same if you're in real estate or you're in sales. Like you're still gonna experience all these levels, and you're gonna take it back to your teams, and it's gonna be amazing.
So many people that come are entrepreneurs or real estate, and I took these principles of the steps of hypnotic influence and visualize, you know, the manifesting and visualizing, and I applied to my real estate business, and I bought over 100 units with no money down, and you know, just around 2 years, and and so I teach you know, once you know the principles, you can apply them to anything. We teach a few strategies, but it's more like, once you get the principle, you just get the strategies. Like you don't have to memorize 100 strategies. You just need 5 or 6 really sound principles that apply to everything in life. And that's what we do here.
And cross apply them. And so, and so we had really different backgrounds. You know, Nicholas is brilliant in finances and investments and things like that. And my background, education and counseling and coaching in a totally different field. And we were able to take all of those things from our past experiences and use those tools in the creation of this. And I think it makes a really unusual but profound experience for people. I love the reviews. And you said you're going to add some reviews into this podcast as well, because I gotta tell you, we still hear from people that go, oh my gosh, you know what happened yesterday? And I totally realized, right? And it's still coming in from events that happened 9 months ago or more. So it's pretty incredible.
We get it pretty deep in the nervous system. I mean, that's
great.
That's one thing we do well. So I think that pretty much covers it. Is there anything else that you think our listeners should know about the event?
Well, if some of you are newer to energy work, I feel really honored because Nicholas lets me teach some of the energy work stuff I've been doing for a couple decades now. And if some of you are a little bit, you know, it's new to you about managing your energy and what does that mean? Don't worry. It's one of the first things some of the folks said to me when they showed up at the first event is they go, I thought this could be really woo-woo. I thought you were going to be really woo-woo. And I said, you know, I work with millionaires that become billionaires. Like I am a business coach, but I also know that what flips it for them is learning to manage their energy. And so if you are really curious about what does that mean to work with in my own energy centers, to manage my own energy, it's kind of an interesting bonus. And if it's new exposure to you, I think you'll be shocked at how comfortable it is for you to open to the possibilities. It works for all belief systems, all value system, right? Like it will apply to you, and you don't have to come into like one of those classes, you know, where you can smell the
burning,
patchouli, it's really right. And it's nothing like that, but you get a wonderful opportunity to really work within your own energy and then figure out how you will use managing your own energy to apply to supporting the energy of others. And so that, I think it's kind of a cool bonus that you choose to add into this event.
I mean, I can do woo woo. I like woo woo.
Yeah, it's fun.
But I'm practical. Yeah. Like
I've done a moon ceremony or two.
So my whole goal is to really bridge, like, this is mainstream science, and here we are with spirituality, and there's really, that gap isn't as big as you think it is. And there's just a few simple understandings. You go, oh, now I see how science applies to spirituality. Now I see how spirituality applies to psychology. This makes so much sense. And so that's one of the things that we like to do.
I think it's really fun bonus to the course. And the other thing is, as I said, it's an event. So in addition to the things that we'll be doing in the room during the day, we also get some pretty cool excursions because Nicholas is famous for the excursions. So if you haven't checked it out, when you go to Spoon Train, I think there's some video reels and stuff.
Yeah,
some other places we've been and things we've done at our other locations. I think Vegas is still top secret. I don't think we can tell anyone about what's going to happen upcoming. But in the past, we've been doing some pretty cool stuff, right? We've done static dancing on the top of plateaus on mountains, right? We've done some cliff diving, right? We've done some pretty incredible things.
Salsa dancing,
a sweat lodge, like you name it. We've done some really cool stuff. So I'll look forward to seeing what you think about his surprises coming up.
And we'll be doing more and different events in the future. But like, I'm pretty set on resonance is going to be the starting point. So that's going to be a prerequisite for anything that comes after. Because if you don't understand these basic principles, like, the other stuff's going to be a bit over your head.
If you were debating whether or not to do it, I would say get this underway, because when you want to jump on board later, you don't want to backtrack. You just want to keep going with us. You want to keep growing with spoontrain.com.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, that was it. If you're coming, we can't wait to see you August 1st through 4th in Las Vegas, or even earlier for Hypno Thoughts Live. If you're listening after that, go to the website, check it out, and find out when our next event is and get registered before it sells out.
If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us. Obviously, you know where to find Nicholas, and you can also give me a call at integrativelifeworksinc.com. Check me out, and I'll answer any questions you have about anything that we're sharing at Resonance. We're happy to share and answer anything we can for you.
All right. Well, thanks for joining me, Sandra, and we can't wait to see all of you at our next event.
My biggest breakthrough was seeing the divine within myself. I've had a lot of issues with like negative self-talk and just not believing in myself. And after coming to my queen state, I'm just changed. I feel different all throughout me. It's been very energetically, spiritually uplifting. I just feel happy. I really like the breathing. I saw my guardian angels, the little crystals flying all throughout the sky. You're just all flowing. I am. I just want to keep moving. Do it. Go for it. You only have one life. Why live it sluggishly, not full? I just feel full, energized, and I just can accomplish anything.
Because Nick has like the greatest personality, right? He is an awesome individual, someone I look up to actually. And I know when he communicates or teaches that is coming from love, 100% love. And that just made me want to come back every single time to just listen to what's new or something that I never heard before. And it's just amazing because I take the information, take it back, and then apply it. And my life has changed since I came to the last one, so why not come back? So, yeah. So you have to experience it for yourself to understand, like, this is life-changing. So as soon as you just go ahead and take action, the better your life is gonna get, like, the faster it's gonna change, yeah.
All the other events and books and things that I've experienced have all kind of been surface level or building on top of things, and this course has been about digging deep and looking really at the real stuff and working on the real stuff, which is what we need. Honestly, I've been experiencing this from my conscious and my subconscious, and I think the conscious is more the teacher and the course creator in me, and the subconscious is more the student in me. And I've been enjoying it in both ways, so I don't know how it can get better. I've gotten a lot more clarity, understanding on a lot of my brain's blueprints and the programming in my brain, and things that I thought that I've been trying to overcome and defeat for most of my life. I've realized that it's not about defeating them or those parts. It's about understanding them, which I feel like now I'm I've made a lot of progress on that, and understanding that part has allowed me to tap into a lot more of self-love and self-care in a profound way that I've never experienced before. I feel like I've got a lot more tools now and a lot more understanding. And I mean, I've always read a lot and got to a lot of courses and things, so I have a lot of information in my head, but everything was all simplified in like very specific, simple, easy to remember and easy to use tools. So like all that information is now readily accessible and easy to use. So I feel much more capable to deal with my emotions, to deal with my experiences, to deal with the different parts of my brain and my emotions and my personalities. And I felt a lot more still and calm already and centered. As he was talking about the masculine and the feminine energies and how they come together and how they attract, and I started to think about all the best parts about the best relationships that I've of my life and all the worst parts about all the relationships of my life, and they fit exactly with those patterns. And having a specific understanding of that masculine and feminine energy and how they come together, how they play together, I feel like I have gotten so much more clarity on my past relationships, and now moving forward I can be conscious of that, and I could save myself a lot of time and struggle and just understand myself and my partner or my future partner or my partners, and just eliminate a lot of wasted time, wasted people, wasted space, and just do things right, or do things in a way that serve me and serve the people around me.
Go for it, please. So I love Nick and I love you and I love the idea of coming to this. I really didn't know what to expect. Yeah. I didn't have real super high expectations, if I'm being honest, because I've got like some stuff I'm working on. But I did just tell myself that I was going to be open to trying everything and doing everything, and not being like bashful or shy, just like doing everything. But what I found is first of all, my expectations were completely exceeded. I really only wanted to get like one thing out of this, is all I really wanted. And there's been several massive breakthroughs for me that are going to probably change my entire life.
Awesome.
I mean, up
Tell
until
me
this
more
point,
about
like, so at the very end, we talked about, I'm going to start at the end and then work backwards. We talked about some masculine, feminine type stuff that was just an absolute breakthrough for me personally and in my marriage. I mean, I can't wait to go home and just start implementing what I'm learning right now. So I'm super excited about that. Some of the other things, I had a couple conversations with Sandra that really helped me and gave me like some tools that I'm gonna need to be able to go back, way back, like childhood back. Yeah. And kind of like scrape some of that old wound stuff out. Yeah. That I didn't really know. Had a lot of resistance to this kind of stuff. I have a lot of resistance to trying to make certain changes in my life, and this is going to give me the tools to be able to love myself enough to be able to go back and do that. So I got some great tools. I'm super excited to start implementing. I took a ton of notes. Yeah. I'm just and I can't wait to come back. And oh my God, if you decide to come to an event, just do what I did. Have no expectations. Just come with an open mind that you're gonna learn one thing. That's it. And just be open to doing everything and really playing full out. Like, awesome. No judgment. That's I think the key to success in these kind of situations.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
You're amazing. Yay. So appreciate it.
Allison, tell us about your experience in Mexico.
I don't know where to begin. It was nothing short of amazing. I knew it was going to be amazing. I know that I came back and I did a dry April, and I quit coffee, which I didn't even know that was going to be on my list. And I dropped 7 pounds, and I've become more fit. So we worked on that a lot.
To be fair, that fitness transformation has been going on before resonance, but we kind of gave it some oomph. Yes. So we fueled the fire there. And like so many things happened to me, just kind of opened up. I think the most amazing thing is that you keep it small enough so that there's personal interaction with everyone. Mm-hmm. And the people that go to an event like this are heart-centered and beautiful, and everyone wants to help each other and see each other flourish. And I think that's part of the center. I know that's part of the synergy that makes it just such an amazing event. And now I have more lifelong friends mm-hmm. that are like-minded from that event. Without giving away too much, what was your favorite chunk of content?
I mean, there were so many. The first one that comes to mind was the sound bath. Oh yeah. Yeah, because I actually saw the sound waves. So they were like frequencies. So I think that was one of my top favorites. I'm not sure what else was. There was just I think just learning everything, about certainty, about. I mean, it was we took this much material and packed it in like this. So it was a lot. And so I'm guessing, is that the reason you're coming back to the next one as well? There's several reasons why I'm coming back to the next one. One is I want to switch my area of focus, or, and kind of turn that knob up on, mm-hmm. A different area in my life. Yeah, I mean, it was so transformational that I want to keep doing it. And as Caitlin said, repetition, I don't remember the way she said it. You've said it before, repetition is the key. Yep. And I know that, again, being around those same people, it's not necessarily the same people, but the same like-minded people that are heart-centered, and is really where I'm supposed to be and who I'm supposed to be with. And I think you're like me, that in those settings is where I feel most alive. Yeah, it's where everyone flourishes, mm-hmm. And everyone wants everyone to flourish. And it was amazing. I go to a few events a year, and that definitely was the highlight of my year so far, as far as events go. So why would I not do it again? It's been amazing to watch your progress and your confidence and your health and those areas of your life really change, and your network, and you're learning, you're influencing people, and I'll teach a piece of influence and you'll go do it and you'll come back and be like, all right, I did this strategy worked, and I'm like, that's right, all right, somebody's applying it, that's good. So kudos to you for doing the work. And you don't just show up to an event and then go home and expect your life to change. You're doing it day in and day out, and so that's where the results come. So what's so interesting is, not only was I celebrated last night for making my physical transformation, which, had you said that to me a year and a half ago, I would have gone, that's not going to happen. But, I take videos when I go to the gym, and we make them into like workout videos and put them all over social media. And now, not only is it like a subject of conversation when I go to see my family, oh, tell me what you're doing. But I get several people texting me, a week, saying that I'm inspiring them to make a change, and they're going to the gym, or someone lost 50 pounds because if she can do it, I can do it. So that really makes me feel really awesome, because, I was pudgy and in pain, a couple of years ago, and I could not see me inspiring other people from a health perspective. So that's amazing. So I'm ready to do that in other areas of my life now. Yeah. When you feel good and you feel confident and you're out there
pursuing, you know, the best version of yourself, you shine a light and you give other people permission to do it. And that attracts a lot of people to you. So congratulations for that.
Yes.
Last question, Allison, what would you say to someone who was on the fence, deciding whether or not to come to Resonance?
You want to change your life? Why? I mean, what do you got to lose? Go. It's amazing. I no hesitation.
Awesome. Well, thank you. I know it's hard to explain into words exactly what we all do together. So, Allison, great to see you. I look forward to seeing you in a few weeks. And yeah, come ready. It's gonna be a blast.
Okay.
All right. Thanks again.
Okay.
Couple things. If you want to combine Tony Robbins' event and Grant Cardone together, I believe this is the quintessence of both combined because it's so intimate. It totally devastated me with how close and how intimate the event is. I wasn't expecting it by miles. Out of multiple breakthroughs that I had, one of them and the last one, and I believe is the most important one, is to give me some time. I'm a busy person. I'm doing a million things at once. I forgot about myself. And now I know. This is amazing. It helps me grow and it helps me understand how everybody around me grows. I love it. Thank you. A couple of things now because I'm here for my kids. First thing, I want to help them have the tools that I got here necessary to go back into their subconscious to tweak and change a couple of things that unfortunately I've injected in as a parent. But now that I have the tools, I'm ready to go back and give them the tools to work. The way this event is conducted and the way this event is structured, it just allowed me to develop skills that I never had before. I realized how to get from one state to the other, which is very important. I knew about the states, I recognized them, I just didn't know how to connect with them when I wanted. And I found the control room. I don't want to give away much more than that, but it's amazing. Take a leap of faith. Yes, go ahead, jump in it. See what's on the other side, see what's going to expect.
Yeah, well, I mean, first of all, I had done your coaching program leading up to that, which was Metamorphosis. And I think the two stand separately, if I, you know, kind of on their own. But mostly I was just fascinated in learning more about the subconscious mind, about what you were doing. And, you know, plus, hey, trip to Mexico, right? You know, sounded pretty awesome. So I just wanted to go a little bit deeper into those things and have some, you know, some one-on-one or more in real life kind of interactions rather than just over Zoom. And was not disappointed. Yeah, it was much deeper and much, I'd say the shared environment of everything made just everything so much more impactful. And then everybody getting to share kind of their experiences and seeing people who were having some struggles that, you know, that maybe I'd had before and kind of helping each other out. It just kind of created a little community of people going through the same thing. So for me, it was, I kind of struggled with the hypnosis process. And, you know, like, it's kind of like meditation. Sometimes you feel like, am I doing it right? I don't know. Is this the way it's supposed to feel? What am I supposed to be thinking about? What am I supposed to be experiencing? Because it's like new territory. And I had not, like, in the coaching group, I maybe had struggled sometimes to, like, my brain, my conscious mind was working too hard to create images as you were kind of talking us through this hypnosis. And I kind of, through that course, I struggled like the first couple of days. And then I think the third or fourth day, I just let my mind relax. And I started to just think about hearing the story that you were telling, and you were kind of painting a picture with your words. And I would just think about how that would make me feel instead of trying to imagine it in my brain. And once I thought about that, and I was like, I was almost experiencing it instead of trying to create this visualization, which for me is like, it puts a lot of pressure on you. Once I kind of let go of that, it was so much more like I could actually feel what you were trying to get us to experience. And that was a huge breakthrough for me, just the ability to experience something, to experience the journey you were taking us on through this hypnosis process with my brain kind of being out of the way and stop overthinking everything and having to create, oh, he's saying this. Well, what kind of a thing is he saying? And your mind just gets in the way because it's trying to put images, and you're kind of also judging yourself on what those images should look like. But when you just kind of listen and let your subconscious came to the top finally, once I let go of that and focused on feeling rather than, trying to make mental images, like playing a movie in my brain is what I was trying to create. And it was always a struggle. When I let go and just followed what you were saying as if I was there experiencing it, it was just a much more intense experience, and much more of a kinesthetic experience. Like the feeling was there instead of the rational brain trying to take over and control everything. So there was going a little bit deeper into kind of how the brain works, and it's been a kind of an ongoing process for me of really understanding and not just my experience, but everybody's experience. And then some of the things that you talked about is like, how does our brain get imprinted with these things? Like, deep emotion, emotion drives things. So, emotion is what kind of anchors things in your subconscious. And a lot of times you have no control over those, or they've been implanted over years of experience and intense emotions that are just happening to you. And you're not doing it with intentionality, but you become a victim of it because you're not really in control of your subconscious. And hearing it in that context, and then the big thing for me was like pattern recognition. That's been a kind of a theme in my life lately. And when you brought that up, it was like, yes, this keeps showing up, and it had been showing up for me in many ways. And that's just a huge, when you identify that and you're able to become a master of that pattern recognition, not just, well, first of all, you start with yourself, you start recognizing patterns in yourself and your behavior, which kind of gives you the keys to start unlocking your subconscious tendencies. These behaviors, like, why am I doing this? And so a lot of it starts with that awareness in yourself. And then you're able to look at other people and see similar patterns. And the more skilled you get at doing that, the more you're able to up level your skills, your awareness of what's going on around you, and then your ability to even influence those patterns. So kind of those first days, and you're talking about, these are the meta learning skills and experiences. And, that was a huge one for me, because it's a pattern that's showing up in many ways, and seeing how kind of the skills you teach, utilizing the subconscious in those ways. It was very powerful for me, because it reinforced things that I was already moving towards and learning about. I would say it's so much more. Like, I've been to big events like Tony Robbins, a couple of Tony's big events, and some smaller events, but still 100, 200 people in a room. This is, it's just a much deeper experience than, similar in intent, but because of the smaller number of people, and then just the depth of what you're going to, you kind of have to be vulnerable in a room, and you're getting hypnotized, like, with these other people going through a similar experience. And that just kind of lowers your inhibitions a little bit. You're in the same vulnerable state with a group of people, and the intimacy of it just makes it a much deeper experience. That was the main thing, because it's not, there's the content. Then you go like to a Tony Robbins event, he's got tons of things, and you're taking notes, and I was taking notes like crazy, but I don't remember any of that. I don't remember anything about notes or note taking. Freaking, oh, look at this. Hey, here we go.
There's the workbook
right here. It's the workbook, because I brought it out because I was referencing something a couple weeks ago that I was trying to teach somebody else, and I filled it with notes, but and that's not what I remember from that. You remember the experience and going through, some of those hypnosis processes, and then going out and doing the things we did, like the dance experience, going to the Temescal, just that everything overall was just made it like, I don't know, 10 times better than what you'd get at a big, massive event, because of the intimacy and the relationships and the depth that you're able to go in that smaller group. I would say do it. It's the best value you're going to get for the impact, to your life, the experience you're going to have, the people you're going to meet. I mean, honestly, best value of money I've spent on events like this, I think, in a couple of years since I've started being into this kind of thing. So yeah, it's great. Without a doubt, I would recommend, if you're at all on the fence, just jump in. You won't regret it.
There's so much going on. It's like drinking from a fire hose, right?
Yeah.
It's like trying to keep up with everything that you're learning. Some of it's old hat for me, some of it's brand new. Putting it together is where I'm growing. If you're unhappy in anything, any portion of your life, and I would say most people are, you need to come to this.
Yeah.
And come with an open mind and just accept what is going to be offered.
Yeah.
And if you come in that frame of mind, you can grow and maybe, just maybe, fix or repair the things that are not right in your life. Business.
Yeah.
There are things that I've been doing in my business that have been self-sabotaging. Those I can now recognize. I have the tools to recognize and the tools to change them. My attitude toward everything, my daughter, my wife, my parents, my family, my business, my partners. Attitude is everything, and if you can, I can now take it and adjust it as I want it to be. I'm not a slave to those attitudes.
Yeah.
I have not been
up until now.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah. I have not been as steadfast as I once was, and I see that, and I've seen the reaction that I've produced in her and the way that she's treating me currently, and I know how to get back to where I was, and I'm 95% sure that'll bring her back to where she was, and I'm happy to try that.
All right, I am joined by Caitlin, who was at the Resonance event in Mexico, and she's gonna just share some of her thoughts and experiences from the last event, and she's actually coming to the next one. So Caitlin, tell us about your experience in Mexico, and why are you coming back for a second time?
So Mexico, I had no expectations, but I knew it was going to be amazing. So I had to sign up, get myself there, and it just blew me away day after day. I mean, it felt like it was a week long, right? But it's the transformation I had was on so many levels. It's hard to even put it into, a little couple minutes here for everyone, but it helped me really. I think one of the most unique things about resonance events is the energy that's created in the space, from the people, from the intentions that are set, from the lessons, the going internally, and then sharing it with the group and everything. It's just high, it's the roller coaster of emotions and energy, where you go in and you really get to feel the energy within yourself, right? You're connecting to your true essence and the different states you want to create, which is a lot of fun. Mm-hmm. And then you get to, jump up and down and dance and everything. And that's a totally different state. But you're creating energy, externally with everyone else. And it's just like off the charts.
So what brought you back? What brought you back a second time?
Well, like you said, the repetition is how you master it. So I felt amazing leaving the event, and then life happens, and you still, the information, but applying it is a lot harder. So you want to get it into your core, you're on a cellular level, you want to be able to embody it all. So you're using it on a daily basis, right? And there's this type of work, I feel like you could always go deeper. Right?
Yeah, I mean, I go deeper for myself all the time. I mean, I'm obsessed with it. So I love that people come back to it, because I've done many trainings multiple times, and that's where you really start to master.
Absolutely.
So you almost didn't come to the first one. You almost were like, oh, I don't know if I can make it. And then last minute you're like, all right, screw it, I'm coming. What pushed you over the edge to come?
It was actually, there was resistance to coming, because I knew it was going to be transformative. And I knew I had gotten into a place, living, a lot changed in the last 2 years before the event. It's 2020 and a lot happened moving back in with family or near family. I had lived away from family for a long time, and being around people who are kind of on a different mindset, right? And different frequency totally affects you. Who you're around affects how you're living and how you're showing up in the world. And so I had kind of gotten into a steady, I wouldn't say I backtracked, but I definitely wasn't growing. I wasn't growing. And so it felt really easy to just not do it. It felt really easy just to not show up for myself, and to not put myself in situations where I'd be growing, and around people that were at a higher frequency, where I wanted to be around these people to stretch myself. And so it's like, when I got you asked, are you sure you don't want to come? I was like, all right, that's a sign. I just got to do it. So
yeah, that's, we do some work, right? I mean, it's not all easy, but it's all great. But it's not always easy. Right. And so, thank you, and thank yourself for having the courage to come once and to come again, to face those parts of ourselves that we often ignore, that sometimes cause the problems in our life, right? It's ignoring those things that keep us where we are. And when we can face those things, we can move forward. So anything else you want to share with someone who's thinking about coming to resonance?
Well, I had two really big, kind of very tangible, transformation or kind of breakthroughs for myself. The first one was just that movement. I think the movement and the dancing, and combined with the intention and the energy and everything, that the chakras, I had blockages in my chakras that I kind of thought about, but I didn't really recognize how powerful it would be to kind of clear those blockages. And I think it was a combination of, like I said, the movement and the intentions and energy, and then the Reiki session with Sandra certainly helped. But doing all of that work all together, right, in a weekend, super powerful, that I just felt like a different person. I was speaking more, I was actually singing and having fun, and going home, dancing so much more on a regular basis, which I love to do, but I kind of got into a routine of like, I don't know, it just was like, forgot about it, how powerful it is to change my state. The other piece was, we went on the last day. Well, the sweat lodge was amazing too, but that was a very unique experience that felt like a rebirthing for me. And just, if you get a chance to go to Mexico, you got to go to Mexico, but you should definitely check out any event. The last day though, we went to a cenote, and there's gorgeous cenotes, like in a little oasis, right in the middle of the jungle. And there's this huge cliff, and everyone's jumping off of it. I jumped off of it a couple of times, and then I was like, why not dive? Why not learn how to dive off of it? And it was just this thing of like, yes, I don't know how to do it, but I'm someone that learns things, right? So it's like, I can do it. I've got people here that are doing it. I've, got the support. So I asked Nick, I asked a couple of the other guys, how would you recommend me, getting started with this? How do you do it? They trained me, and it was a mindset thing, right? It was getting clear on the intention. And I totally fumbled the first couple times, but third time was amazing. I think it was the third time. And that was just like, it was amazing to do the dive. It was amazing to know that I could do something so quickly if I set the intention.
And you
right? Visualize it. Yeah.
Visualized it. And it was amazing to watch, because you were learning to dive from, I don't know, 20 some feet in the air, right? You've never dove before. So like when you don't go all in from there, like it hurts. And I saw it hurt for you, and you still pushed through that.
Oh my God, it hurt.
Of successfully diving from that height. And it was really awesome to see.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. So, well, I'm super excited to have you just in a few weeks here. And thanks for coming to the last one. And anyone that's listening to this, you're going to get to meet her in Vegas. And if you're listening after, we will see you at our next upcoming resonance. Thanks, Caitlin.
Awesome. Thank you, Nick.
Okay. Hey, I just wanted to say that was an amazing event. It was actually a deep dive in myself, and I got to experience like a lot of cool people around, and meditation, and just went really deep in my roots to actually maybe find some sources of my personal problems. And I can tell for sure this is it's an unimaginable experience. You guys have to come if you have a chance. And for sure, the fact that you can actually control your actions through changing your state, that's definitely one of them.
Awesome.
And to be honest with you, I can tell for sure, for a fact that everything in my life actually improved, and I wouldn't be here today if I was not for Nick.
There's been many, so it's very, very difficult to choose one. I had a very beautiful moment with my fiance during the event. Nicholas, Katie orchestrated a very beautiful moment for us to connect on a way that I honestly don't think we've ever connected before. So that was incredible. I've had a lot of different breakthroughs in terms of how to not only go after my goals, but allow my goals to come to me, to live in the goals and stop worrying about the how, which I knew before coming to this event. I knew, don't worry about the how, let the subconscious do it. But I never realized how, in my mind, how much I was living still in my current state and not living in that future state. And so no matter what I did to go toward that state, whether it's working out, being different in my business, no matter what I did, I was always getting the same results physically, financially, health, everything, because I wasn't spending enough time in what I wanted. I was spending all my time in what I was used to. We did a lot of things that I wasn't expecting for us to do. I've loved that. I've loved the uncertainty of the event. I've loved just not 100% knowing what I was going to get from coming here. I had a general guideline, so I knew that it was going to be along the lines of what I wanted, but I didn't 100% know. So I loved the uncertainty and just connecting with everyone, the intimacy of the group. Those were mine. I would say definitely do it. I'm not just saying that either because we're here at Nick's event. Nick's not around, but he's incredible. The team that he's put together is incredible. The work that he's put in is incredible. He truly lives what he teaches, and he truly knows how to teach you how to live it as well. It's not a thing where it's just like they know it in concept, but they don't actually know how to deliver it. So that's something that was important to me coming here. That's something that I would share with anyone else coming here. I did bring my fiance, saying, trust me, Nick is amazing, and the team that he put together is amazing too. So that's what I would say is decide, I guess. Well, you don't even need to decide. You already know. People already know. I already knew what I wanted coming here. And so, yeah, once you're in that state of knowing, Nick is definitely a guy that can help dig through those layers and help you bring up the results that you want.
I came to Resonance because I've known Nicholas for a little while now, and he has been somebody that I kind of put on a little bit of a pedestal. I'm like, man, that guy's like going somewhere, And I'm like, what attributes does he have that I could like absorb, right?
Yeah.
Because you need to mirror and model those of who you want to be like. Okay, so I signed up for Residence not really knowing exactly what it was, but I kind of know the things that Nicholas has been about. So I had a feeling it's just going to be about all the stuff that he's kind of learned over the past few years, and that has matched my expectation, which has been good. So for me, coming here, I wanted to create some congruence and alignment in my life, like the things I say that I want for myself and then the things that I actually do weren't matching up in total alignment. They're like, I'd get to a certain point, but then I'd be my own worst enemy and like cut short of where I really want to take myself. So I wanted to get rid of those limiting beliefs. And so I think the biggest takeaway from the event was that, like, I have everything I need inside me. I just need to get rid of the limiting beliefs that I have. And having these limited beliefs is kind of like a ridiculous thing to think about now, knowing that I have everything I need. So like before, I felt a lack, right? I didn't have it all. And now I realize and I understand that I do have it all. And now it's like, okay, what am I going to do with it? So the limiting beliefs are gone.
Yeah.
And new Justin starts today. He's going up. If there's any reason that comes up in your mind as to why you can't, that's probably the reason that you should. Just getting rid of that limiting belief, whether it's time, money, effort, energy, where it's located. There's just a lot of great content here, and without experiencing it, you'll never know.
Yeah.
So
that's amazing.
You might as well just take the leap and go.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I so appreciate you. You're amazing.
Thanks.
Well, relationships, right? I came here getting a breakthrough in my relation with my fiance and my parents, right? That triangle. So I think day 2, I had that major breakthrough when we were doing the breath work. Me realizing I wasn't as good of a fiance as I should have been, or I wanted to be, right? Listening all the kind of other people's opinions, what should I be doing or how I should be behaving, and it's definitely brought me back to who I am inside and seeing that freedom, kind of going back home to where I belong. So that was definitely a break. And another thing, it's implementing, right? We kind of sit, listen to lectures, but then boom, let's do this exercise, let's meditate, let's clear some chakras. So definitely that balance of kind of learning and implementing. Oh, it's a no-brainer. It's like, you know, the vibe you get, the people you meet, it's just on a different level. It's not even discussable. Like it's a huge investment.
I was going to say there was, I came with an intention for one thing, and then another thing popped up, and that was what was resolved. And the thing is, have you ever heard the expression love hurts? So when I think of my kids, it hurts. And I'm very tied to a parental identity. Like Greg is a parent, and this is what that looks like. And so when I think of my kids, there's anxiety, there's worry, there's always negative vibration, not low vibration feelings. And for a long time, I've just accepted, well, that's normal. Love hurts. It's supposed to feel that way. And through several different things that we did, from Reiki to the avatars that we were building, all those things kind of came together, and I just don't feel that. Or if it does come up, I recognize it as I'm judging myself, or there's some guilt there. It's all low vibe stuff that serves nobody. And the thing that really hit me was my last interaction with my oldest daughter. The interaction was all that low vibe stuff. Like I was talking about how I was worried about her and all this negative shit, pardon my French. But that's not what, I didn't want to deliver that to her. So getting rid of that stuff, and again, this wasn't even the plan coming here, but holy cow, that really is free. That's freedom for me.
Yeah.
That getting rid of that feeling that's freedom for me.
Yeah. It's amazing. What did you enjoy most about this whole experience?
The location has, we go back to Nick first. I mean, I've known Nick for a while now, and there's things that he's like, read this book. And I'm like, well, I've read that. Well, not the way Nick has.
How many times?
Yeah, once, right? I've tried these things. Nick has spent hundreds, thousands of hours, I don't know, a true expert in the things that he's delivering. And so all these different things have come together, and it's just allowed me to trust and be open to the experience. And then being here in this location, I feel really connected to just everything. So it's just, like when we talk about aligning chakras, I just feel like everything's just flowing. but there's so many different things that you're going to be working on. You're not coming here to work on a relationship. You're not coming here to work on your business, and you're coming here just to work on yourself. It's like it's all coming together, and it'll help you find your true path. Just release to it, let it happen. You know, you're not like make it happen. Release it and let it happen, and this frees that up to happen. Yeah.
Well, I resonate with what Nick Spohn puts out. I did his Metamorphosis mastermind group, and it was fantastic. I mean, weekly calls, just growing with great people. So right from the beginning, we were setting goals for, 8 weeks later, what was going to happen. So one of the goals I set for myself was to have a $100,000 wholesale deal, because I wholesale real estate. And using Nick's practices, visualizing the situation, feeling the emotion of how I'd feel with that happening, did that every single day, followed what he mentioned, and then during the course of the mastermind group, I happened to get a $110,000 wholesale deal. Yeah, to start, I feel an 11 out of 10 right now, maybe even more. So that itself, just coming in here, and then I wrote down about 10 objectives I had for the event: building a great network of people, having transformation, working on that self-confidence, going out, just having fun with everyone, and checked all those boxes. So there was also the phobia I got over through hypnosis, which was interesting.
What was that phobia?
I've been scared of needles since I was 3, and then after a 3-5 minute quick hypnosis process, cleared that fear, and now I can visualize getting a shot and I don't squirm or freak out. I trust him because he does the work himself. So he's a student of really just the principles he's talking about. Like, he learns them and applies them directly to his life. And so as far as just communicating with him, interacting, getting coaching, the performance he puts on, I mean, just fantastic event. Like, I definitely recommend working with Nick.